I am going to be talking about non-Aboriginal people working in Aboriginal communities. The field of social work can be a very hard profession for some people to be a part of. Being able to separate one's own life from the life of the people they work with can be a quite difficult task. When it comes to social work jobs in Aboriginal communities, the issue of being non-Aboriginal can play its part against someone. The idea of the Indian Act, even though it was created a long time ago, still has its effects on Aboriginal communities today. The Indian Act was a government-made act created in hopes to assimilate Aboriginal people. The goal of the act was to make Canada's native culture disappear forever. Aboriginal people would have to give up their own cultures, languages, and beliefs to live life like the British settlers at the time. The problem in today's world is that some Aboriginal communities do not trust social workers because of the distrust of government figures from the past. Whether it is on reserves in Canada or in the United States, the issues of intercultural work, stereotypes and prejudice, and mutual respect play a huge role in the profession and also the lives of the people that the social workers are working with. Intercultural work. The issue of intercultural work arises when there are two different cultures either clashing or trying to work with one another. Intercultural work between non-Aboriginal and Aboriginal people is mainly focused on the recognition of Aboriginal people's history and how that history has been slightly destroyed due to colonialism and assimilation methods. Being able to work with someone without racializing a person's culture because it is not the same as yours really helps with the issue of intercultural work. This kind of work has to include respect towards Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal relationships. This relationship will then encourage people to learn, talk, and work with each other regardless of the differences between the cultures. By understanding an Aboriginal person's history, it helps people in the social work field understand the people themselves. It helps them understand their culture and the way they live in today's society. Intercultural work can also help bridge the gap between non-Aboriginal and Aboriginal communities. This will help the social worker respect the needs of the person and respect the differences between the ways each person does something. Stereotypes and prejudice. In today's society, Aboriginal people are still suffering from discrimination that has been put on them from years ago, either from the Indian Act or other types of assimilation methods. So the ideas of stereotypes or prejudice are still very strong in these Aboriginal communities. A prejudice is driven by a stereotype, which is defined as a preconceived opinion that is not based on someone's reasoning or experience. And a stereotype, on the other hand, is an image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. People may take the previous knowledge they have heard in the media or from real-life experiences to make extreme judgments on certain people and the way they act or behave. Aboriginal people are very popular in the media with the stereotypes surrounding them. To prevent the use of prejudice or stereotypes being used in the social work field, a person needs to think of the cultural impacts that may have happened to these people for them to receive these negative things said about them. If social workers can put into consideration the stereotypes and prejudice towards Aboriginal people and try to avoid using previous labels placed on them, it would make the issue of stereotypes and prejudice not so apparent in these communities. Mutual respect. In the social work field, respect is a key factor to the profession. Mutual recognition of issues or certain aspects really helps the idea of mutual respect in communities or in the workplace. Being able to focus on consideration and courtesy towards people whose languages and cultures differ from what someone else's may be is the perfect starting point to earning and learning respect from others. Respect is so essential for strong and healthy relationships between non-Aboriginal and Aboriginal people. The idea that race relationships are a two-way street is a great example on how respect works. If you give someone respect, you will earn that respect. A lot of the time, earning respect in Aboriginal communities takes some time because of acts or regulations imposed by the government in the past or in today's society. But once that trust is earned, and you are given trust as well, The relationship that can grow from that will be beneficial to the work that is done. So in conclusion, the social work field can be a very difficult profession, especially in the case of being non-Aboriginal working in an Aboriginal community. But if a social worker uses the idea of intercultural work to help look past cultural differences, understands previous knowledge of history to avoid stereotypes and prejudice, and use mutual respect to earn and gain respect from one another, then the relationship between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people will continue to grow and prosper as the communities continue to grow. And in the future, there will be a society where people of two totally opposite cultures can work together without any fears of being ridiculed against or harmed in a mental or emotional way. Thank you.